England, Britain, Great Britain, United Kingdom, the British Isles. The names England, Britain, the United Kingdom, and the British Isles were used, at certain points in history, to refer to the same geographical entity. Each name suggests major changes in the history of that part of the world. The changes are always political, namely, they are tied to the division and balance of power in the various territories that make up this land. Let's first see a modern map of the country whose rich history we are about to discover and explain the political nature of each name. The map shows the territories of England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The capital cities of those territories are, respectively, London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, and Belfast. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, to give its full name, refers to the present political union between England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. The United Kingdom is a sovereign state, but the nations that make it up are also countries in their own right. They have their own autonomous parliaments and governments. From 1801 to 1922 the UK also included all of Ireland, which was under British political control. Great Britain is the official collective name of England, Scotland, and Wales and their associated islands. It does not include Northern Ireland. Britain only refers to England and Wales. Great added to Britain brings Scotland to the name. The British Isles is purely a geographical term. It refers to the islands of Great Britain and Ireland and the 5,000 or south smaller islands scattered around the coasts. But where is the United Kingdom on the map? Why is a knowledge of the other neighboring countries important to our survey of its culture? It is very important to identify the place of Britain on the map and to identify those other territories and countries that will play a crucial part in its political history. 1. Rome, Italy, the seat of the Roman Empire, whose invasion of Britain, as historians explain, introduces us to written recorded history in Britain, and moves England from a scattered tribal existence into an urban society. 2. Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Norway are very crucial to the history of Britain because it is from those countries that the tribes of the Was Britain ever part of mainland Europe? How was ancient Britain separated from mainland Europe and when? Ancient Britain was a peninsula connected to mainland Europe until a tsunami flooded its land links to Europe some 8,000 years ago. The coastline and landscape of what would become modern Britain began to emerge at the end of the last ice age around 10,000 years ago. Because of the melting of the ice caps and the change in weather conditions, due to rising sea levels, what had been a cold, dry land on the northwestern edge of Europe grew warmer and wetter. It was a long process that started about 6,000 years BC. The North Sea and the English Channel were once dry land. Before it was submerged underwater, the southern part of the North Sea was referred to as Doggerland. But it wasn't until 6100 BC that Britain broke free of mainland Europe for good. The White Cliffs of Dover are the closest point in England to France, and the Dover Strait is the site of what was once a land bridge connecting to the European mainland. Now let's begin our exploration of the meaning of the term prehistory and the three-age system of archaeology. The Stone Age. The Stone Age can be divided into three main periods: Early Stone Age, Paleolithic, Middle Stone Age, Mesolithic, Late Stone Age, Neolithic. 1. Early Stone Age, Paleolithic, 2.5 million years ago to 10,000 years ago. Early Stone Age Britain refers to the time when Britain was still part of mainland Europe, as explained above. Archaeologists suggest that the first humans to arrive in Britain came to the land around 900,000 BC. Examination of human remains, tools and weapons have led experts to believe that the ancient ancestors of British people arrived around 30,000 BC. Those are always referred to as Homo sapiens. Early Stone Age people in Britain formed a fragile and scattered population of about 5,000 hunter-gatherers. They lived in caves and simple shelters. They are descended from the early humans who had followed migrating herds of mammoth and reindeer onto the peninsula. 2. Middle Stone Age, Mesolithic, from around 8000 BC to 4500 BC. During the Middle Stone Age, Britain was still linked to Europe by the strip of land called Doggerland. People in Britain started to learn how to settle down away from the nomadic pattern of life that got them moving from one place to another in search of food and water. They began to set up camps along the British coast and on river banks. They also some hunting technologies, like hand axes, spears which were tipped with bone or flint. Some hunting technologies, like hand axes, spears which were tipped with bone or flint. Large areas of land and woods were cleared. Large areas of land and woods were cleared. Agriculture and domestication of animals allowed for settlements. Many tribes lived individually, some gathered into small villages. The idea of community started to take shape then. What were the structures of Stonehenge for? Many theories explaining the function of the Stonehenge state that they played the part of observatories, observing the night sky to determine the right time for cultivations, sowing and harvesting, meeting places for trading of goods, marketplace, defensive structures for protection against invaders. But recent theories and satellite images of the area around such structures prove that they had a religious function. People would cross hundreds of miles of land in pilgrims where they would perform religious rituals and offer sacrifices to the gods. The vibrating stones of which the Stonehenge is made are said to have therapeutic powers. The Celts were mainly farmers and hunters clans. They had tightly knit family units with a chieftain ruler. They introduced ironwork, soap, pottery wheels, and horseshoes to northern Europe. They had druids, or priests who presided over religious ceremonies. The duty of the druids was to preserve the heritage of the people, to memorize long heroic poems that preserved the people's myths about the past. The Celts had summary in prehistoric Britain. Students are introduced to the geographical significance of the United Kingdom and its neighboring territories and countries. Immigration to ancient Britain and colonization of its lands tremendously contributed to the development of Britain's political history and its growth, turning it from a scattered tribal existence into an urban society. Students also explore the meaning of the term prehistory and comprehend the three-age system of archaeology, stone, bronze, and iron ages. They also become familiar with how people lived during those ages, and evaluate the development and technological achievement introduced by the new immigrants and invaders dealt with in the following units: the Romans, the Anglo-Saxons, the Vikings, and the Normans. Questions with answers now. Let's answer some of the early questions we asked before we started our unit. 1. What are the neighboring countries whose people invaded and colonized Britain? 2. Rome, Italy, the seat of the Roman Empire, whose invasion of Britain, as historians explains, introduces us to written recorded history in Britain. 3. Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, and Norway are very crucial to the history of Britain because it is from these countries that the tribes of the Anglo-Saxons came to, or rather, invaded Britain. 4. Normandy, in northern France, is another important territory. The conquest of Britain by the Normans marks a first in the history of Britain, when the country was colonized by the French. It is very important to identify the place of Britain on the map and to identify those other territories and countries that will play a crucial part in its political history. On the map and to identify those other territories and countries that will play a crucial part in its political history. 1. Italy 2. Norway 3. Sweden 4. Denmark 5. Netherlands 6. 1. Italy 2. Norway 5. 8. 3. What is a Stonehenge, and what is its function? Many theories explaining the function of the Stonehenge state / that they played the part of observatories, observing the night sky to determine the right time for cultivations, sowing and harvesting, meeting places for trading of goods, marketplace, defensive structures for protection against invaders. But recent theories and satellite images of the area around such structures prove that they had a religious function. People would cross hundreds of miles of land in pilgrims where they would perform religious rituals and offer sacrifices to the gods. The vibrating stones of which the Stonehenge is made are said to have therapeutic powers. Dictionary. The following table contains the new words and expressions introduced in the unit. They are placed in the order they appear in the text. For an alphabetical list, go to the collective dictionary at the end of the book. Certain points in history refer to v. Geographical entity. Major changes suggest v. Tied to v. The division of power various territories make up v. Rich history. The political nature. Capital cities respectively. Political union. Sovereign state. Nation. Political. In their own right. Official collective name. Associated purely geographical term. Scattered around the coasts. Neighboring countries. Survey. Identify. v. Play a crucial part. Crucial to political history. The seat of the Roman Empire. Invasion. Historians introduce us to written recorded history. Tribes. Conquest. Marks of first in history. Colonized by tsunami. Flood. v. Land links. Coastline. Edge of Europe. Emerge. v. Ice age. Grew warmer and wetter. Ice caps melt. v. Dry land. Break free. v. Cliffs. Closest point. Straitside. Land bridge. Exploration. Prehistory. Three-age system. Archaeology. Record. v. Measured human progression. Behavioral. Cultural characteristics and changes related to tool-making technology. Paleolithic era. Nomads. Tribes. Fragile, scattered, hunter-gatherer. Descended early humans. Migrating herds. Mammoth, reindeer. Stonehenge. Emerge. v. Astronomers, extraordinary engineering skills. A complex social organization. Excavation. Standing stones. Reveal. v. Remain. v. A village believed to have belonged to on earth. v. Contain. v. Bed frames. Shelves. Cupboards. Estimated to be fairly advanced. Whalebone. Agriculture. Cultivation, domestication of animals. Allow for. v. Settlement. Live individually. Gather into. v. The idea of community. Start to take shape. Function. State. v. Play the part of observatories. Sowing. Harvesting. Marketplace. Defensive structure. Invaders. Recent theories. Satellite images. Area. Prove. v. Religious function. Cross. v. Pilgrims. Perform. v. Rituals. Offer. v. Sacrifices. Vibrating stones. Therapeutic powers. Celtic tribes. Ensure. v. Previous settlers. Clans. Tightly knit family unit. Chieftain. Therapeutic. Ironwork. Pottery. Wheels. Horseshoes. Druids. Priests. Preside over. v. Religious ceremony. Preserve. v. Heritage. Memorize. v. Heroic poems, myths. Runes. Inscriptions. Tin came solely from. Further readings. Geologists unveil how Britain first separated from Europe, and it was catastrophic. https://the conversation. Unit 2, Roman Britain. Objectives,